It's just after 10 p.m. in the 254 and just after 8 p.m. in London, 10 p.m. in Jeddah and Cairo. Adeline is just waking up, while our folks in Joburg are 1 hour behind us. Whatever corner of the world you are in, welcome to Diaspora Connect, where we deliver the sights and sounds from Kenya to you, from your location to us. Tonight, we are in the Madaraka mood. We salute all those who have played a role in our liberation. Tukapata mamlaka ya kujitawala. In the same breath, we celebrate those traversing the ups and downs of daily life abroad, embracing the hustle and the grind that makes Kenyans stand out in the world. Are people ready to sync with culture, anchored by our goals to succeed? Wherever you are, sisi ni wa Kenya. Na ya maana ni tunajivunia kuwa wa Kenya. Happy Madaraka Day popote ulipo, and welcome to Diaspora Connect. And yes, if it's a Saturday night, we got you the right way, connecting with all our friends and family. This is Diaspora Connect. Karibu sana. We are definitely glad to have you. You are the most important person on the show. My name is Neville. I'm your host. And till late, Leo, ni connection, stories, and such a good time right here on Citizen TV. And you know, connecting is all about that hashtag. Use that hashtag Diaspora Connect at Citizen TV Kenya. That's how you get to us. Leo, tunaongea one universal language ni ya mapenzi. How if you want to know also about how you can secure your spot, especially when it comes to going abroad, you are in the right place. Plus so much more, especially our real life stories from real life Kenyans who are taking over. So unatutambua. And as we build up to Madaraka Day, unajua lazima tutese mbaya sana. We'll be giving you sights and sounds from many different areas right here in the 254. Hata usisahau watu wangu wangemi, tutakuwa na nyinyi very soon. But before we get to all that goodness, this is what we have for you on the show tonight. On Diaspora Connect tonight, Ajuma, the supermodel from Kenya that took Kenyan beauty to the world. Mercy with her story about being deported from the US of A and bouncing back into music. DJ Calvin's the DJ on tour with our Kenyan star BN. Levi Cones, a motivational speaker on bouncing back from life problems. Gary from the US of A explaining the Kenyan hustle from the land of milk and honey as an instrumentalist and an artist. Shodi moto kabisa mapochopocho didididi. And as we said, you are the most important person on the show. And this special show, apart from it being some Madaraka kind of thing, also I want to dedicate this special episode to all our first timers. When I talk about first timers, I'm talking about all those people who are tuned into Diaspora Connect for the first time. You know, welcome aboard. Hapa ndo palibaze we connect with all our loved ones from across the globe. Plus, tuko na kitu mzuri inaitwa salams. On salams, it's very simple. All you need to do is get your phone, and when you get your phone, put it in landscape mode, record a video of yourself saying hi to all your family members from across the world. Imagine that. Alafu, since I'm talking to first timers, if you come to the show, you automatically become our ambassador. Yani ukienda out there, you spread the message about us. And I want us to look at these salams from one of our ambassadors called Njeri.
Finally, on Diaspora Connect, here I am. My name is Njeri. I'm located in the UK, and I'm glad to be on this show for the very first time. Thank you to my sisters who introduced me to Diaspora Connect, and I want to pass my regards and my shout out to my family, my dad and my mom. Back in Kenya, asanteni sana na wapenda sana. Thank you for your prayers and for your support. I'd like to pass my greetings to my brothers, Sam, Kevin, Ray, and Doch back in school, and to my two lovely, amazing sisters, Wamboi and Nyambura na wapenda. Big love. And to my handsome nephews, Taji and Baraka. Not to forget my special best friend here in UK. His name is Mfalme Suleiman. I love you so much, and thank you for being my good friend and for sticking with me. Thank you, Diaspora Connect. It's a wrap.
Isha, man, Jerry, umeweza mbaya sana. And remember, as I said, you become our ambassador. Automatically, you tune in to us right here. So as you've heard, Jerry was being introduced by her family members. Yani, so you could also be watching this now, like, hey, niko na mse wangu Australia, niko na mse wangu China, niko na mse wangu Joburg, niko na mse wangu Nigeria, and I want them to connect. So make sure you use our WhatsApp line, iko hapa kwenye screen zako. Use that number, send us a video, and also send them that number, so that, you know, we are all connected. Talking about connecting, and I want us to go all the way to our first guest. Wacha nikwambie, Wakenya tunatesa out here. And when it comes to entrepreneurship, when it comes to entertainment, our next guest is a holistic Kenyan who loves, of course, that Kenyan-American kind of experience. And for the first time ever on the show, help me welcome DJ Calvins. My bro, mambo vipi lakini ni aje? Mambo vipi, Calvins? Ni aje? Sijui kama unanisikia, bro. Naona mandhari yako iko sawa pale. I don't know if you can hear me, bro. Can you hear me?
Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you now. Good evening, Nairobi.
Vipi, bro?
Good evening, Nairobi. Diaspora Connect. Good afternoon, America. Mambo poa sana.
Sawa. Ni aje lakini, Calvins? Uko poa lakini?
Niko poa sana. I'm so happy to be here, man. Thank you for having me.
Nice, thanks manze. Unajua tunaona in the background there's a body of water. Wase wanajua hiyo haiko anywhere in Kenya. Let me know where you are right now, pale United States of America. And if you weren't on Diaspora Connect, ungekuwa unadu nini sai, my bro?
Right now I'm in Dallas, Texas. A town nearby called Irving, like 5 minutes away. Singekuwa hapa leo ningekuwa nimelala, man. We had a long 2 weeks tour with my favorite artists in the world. Sasa ningekuwa nimelala, lakini, you know, I had to create time and connect with the people.
Nice. I love that. So you're talking about your favorite artist. Ni nani? Ametoka inchi gani? Unajua, tupatie all the tea. Wacha kuwa mgumu, Calvins.
There's only one man, a bald man in the world, man. So yeah, the tour was really good. Tulikuwa na bien, ilishika sana. And we had a 2-week, 8 cities within 2 weeks. It was a roller coaster.
Ah, nice. So you've been with Bien as he kicked off his tour. What part are you playing on this tour, my bro?
So yeah, I was so happy. Bien had me running his entire merchandise for the whole tour. I was also DJing. I was the official DJ for the tour. And it was such an honor, a very big platform. And I'm truly grateful for that.
Nice. I love it because right here back home, manze, kile tumeona Bien amekuwa breakfast club pale anatesa kidogo ametembea na kuku kama tu a true Luya, a true Kenyan, unajua. So how does that make you feel, especially, unajua, opportunities like this for Kenyans to travel abroad wasn't, unajua, like this kitambo, you know? Talk to me.
I mean, it's always a great honor to see our artists and generally Kenyans shine. There's so many people doing great things in the diaspora. Some of which are not in the limelight. But yeah, we're super proud of people like Bien who take the opportunity and break the ceiling for the rest of the, you know, artists and the creatives in general.
That's so true, bro. And also you receive your flowers because you're also on that path. You're not only you're entertaining us, but you're also an entrepreneur. Talk to me and to Kenyans who are watching you right now. I go like, oh, I've heard of him, I know about him, but I don't know his story and how, you know, he made it to America, how he went there. Maybe you can give me a bit of breakdown.
Well, my name is Felix Calvins. Jina Kisani wananita Dakfela, I'm a DJ Calvins. I moved here 11 years ago, straight from college, fresh from college, from uni, Nairobi University, born and raised in Kisumu. When I got here, my family was here, so I had a soft landing. And, you know, they showed me the ways around, showed me the ropes around, got me the best legal advice. And I'm truly grateful for the opportunity, you know?
And when you got there, kulikuwa na sense of culture shock. Juu tunajua sisi, unajua, especially from Nairobi Uni, comrades, nini. What were some of the things that you had to adjust to? Unajua, one of those things inaweza kuwa maybe ka accent hivi. Here Kenyan, we have our own accent here. Was communication as easy as it was back home? Talk to me, bro.
Watu wengine wanasema watu wengine wanapata accent wakishapanda tu ndege hivi Jomo Kenyatta wana change accent.
Bana.
Lakini some of the things that were different were like the driving. The cars, they drive on the right hand side. The cars are left hand drives. So that took me a while to adjust, maybe like a few days to adjust. Service delivery is different from Kenya. I mean, I love Kenya. Africa has my heart. But some of the service deliveries and all are between the different kidogo systems in our work. And yeah, I'm just happy to be able to have the opportunity to have access to both places.
I like that. Also, you've talked about some services. Are there things that you umeona huko that you would love for them to be introduced back home? Unajua, as you've said, you've seen many services. Niko sure kuna vitu umeona huko, you're like, by the way, this would really do well back home. Talk to me.
So one of the things that naona inawak vizuri, it's very commendable. The taxes are getting used properly. You know, if it's the road constructions, infrastructure, I mean, your taxes get used for the right thing. You know what I mean? That's one of the things that I commend and say they're doing a good job on that. Other than that, I think Kenya is also on the right path. Ingawa tuko na shida zetu kidogo, itakuja kutatuliwa tu, unajua, pole pole ndo mwendo.
Kabisa baze. Na tunaona huko, kwa hiyo uko background kuna maji mingi, ni place unaweza swim, unajua, nieleze kuhusu mandhari ya nyuma.
Hapa imeandikwa no swimming, no fishing, no deep water, ni kuangalia tu manze. No swimming. Naona sign hapo inaambiwa no swimming. Ni place tu ya kuangalia tu na kukam kujinvinjari kama mtu kama mimi ukitaka kuja kukula breeze kidogo. Just get some fresh air, and it's like a running park or a trail. You can walk around and just ride your bicycle or do whatever, you know?
Yeah. Nice, I feel you. Yeah. And also, we've just been looking at some of your pictures of you DJing. How is it like playing for a different audience, especially when it comes to Kenyan music?
Well, the energy is very good. I mean, the energy is great. And touring with somebody like Bien, definitely you'll have... Bien is one of the very spiritual artists, yani, you know, brings... Sijaona wa Kenya wengi hivo at the same time. He sold out damn near his 95% of the entire tour. So energy was all the way up, way up. And it's very commendable. And I've never seen anything like this in the last decade here in America.
It's really a milestone, and we love it, and we love you too, manze, for also representing there, kuwachezea magengeton, ma-urbanton, ku make sure pia wame recognize mambo ya mtaani. Before I love and leave you, my bro, hapa watu tunakuwa na tradition yetu ya kutuma salams, kwa sababu tunajua kuna watu watch wanasema aki Calvin, aki Dark Fellow, wagwan. Haya, tuma salamu kwa wawili, watatu, wanne, watano.
Salamu kwanza zinaanza kwa comrades wote Nairobi University. That's where, you know, the foundation started. Shout out to all my comrades from Nairobi Uni. Shout out to my family from Kisumu, my mom, my dad, my cousins, everybody. Even you right there at the studio, man. Nakutumia salamu and the whole crew. Diaspora Connect, for connecting all Kenyans. You know what I mean?
Hapo sawa, bro. Nakubali. Thank you very much for coming through, and make sure, I know you're usually frequently here mtaani. Please make sure anytime you come home, anytime you have anything, make sure you let us know and you pass by here so we can give you that proper appreciation, my bro. So thank you very much. Hapo sawa. That is DJ Calvin's all the way in Houston, Texas. Thank you very much, my bro, for coming through and making sure, manze, kila kitu iko tu sawa kabisa. I'm talking about kila kitu ikiwa sawa. You know, on Diaspora Connect, anytime we are in studio, we always are having the most important people, especially when it comes to us getting the real story. You know, story inakuwaga poa ikitoka kwa direct source, you know? And right here on the Hangout today, I am privileged. I am honored. Let me tell you this before I even introduce her. Smelling good is part of your personality. And my guest smells exceptionally well. And hey, imeweza sana. So welcome to the show, Ajuma. We appreciate you so much, Karim.
Thank you so much, Nalvin. Aki, by the way, before we keep going, can I do my salamu right now?
Oh, salams.
Yeah, you know what? No, just one.
Yes.
Because my 8-year-old is being a trooper. He's sitting up like this waiting for me to appear on television.
Please, please talk to him. Talk to him.
Hi, Willow. You can go to bed now, baby, okay?
Mommy's doing well.
Yes. Okay.
I love it. Welcome to the show, Ajuma.
Thank you.
As I said, we appreciate you. We are glad to have you. You're one of those Kenyans, or you're one of those human beings that anytime we see you on our screens, on our social media, we know you're up to some good.
Thank you so much.
So welcome to the show, Diaspora Connect. I can't wait to talk to you, especially about everything that you've done. Apart not only representing the country in the right way, but also about your foundation.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me on this platform. Thank you so much.
Let's begin from the journey. You know, there are those people who, let's say, maybe they live in a hole somewhere. They've not heard of the name Ajuma. They don't know what goes on in the supermodel.
No, it's called the Gen Z.
Oh, yes.
Gen Z and Alpha.
Gen Z and
those
Alpha.
ones.
So maybe you could give people a brief about yourself. Talk to me.
So my name is Ajuma Nasanyana. I am high fashion model, the Kenya's first international high fashion model.
Yes.
So I have been based in Paris, Milan, New York, all the big fashion capitals.
Yes.
I've worked with the most prestigious designers.
Designers.
Victoria's Secret, Jean-Paul Gaultier, Chanel, Fendi.
Hey,
all those guys.
I love it.
Yeah, so that is Ajuma Nasanyana.
That is Ajuma.
But Ajuma is a very small, humble girl, very down-to-earth girl from Turkana, a small village called Nawitorong in Lodwar.
Oh, wow. Yes. I love the fact that you don't shy away from mentioning where you're from.
That is my foundation.
I love it.
That is the reason why I stand.
I stand here.
Yeah, I stand here
I
today.
love it. Tell me some of the lessons that you've accredited where you've grown up. Tell me some of the things you learned that have helped you during your journey, because you've gone out there. I'm sure there are things that you held on to that you learned from back home here before going and conquering the world.
The way I grew up, family was very, very tight.
Okay.
My friends we were very, very close-knit, right? So everywhere I went, that kept me so grounded because I always had that connection.
Okay.
I could not rear away because I could always hear the voices of my grandmother, my aunties, my mother just talking to me, right? So I've always stayed strong and grounded. So I mean, I've never,
never deviated.
No. I see people deviating, but
you are still on your path.
No, me I'm Nini.
I love it.
You can take the village out of the girl, but you can't take the village out of
whatever. You said it in the best way.
Yeah, that thing.
Yeah, that thing.
Hey, that one.
Ajuma, I'm loving it. Also, you have such a unique story, especially of how you were connected to your opportunity of abroad. I want you to talk to me about that, especially the fact that some people might be looking up to you and being like, oh, okay, I would love to go there. I would love to do that. But many people might not know, maybe this is not maybe the thing that you wanted to do.
Yeah, so I was born in Turkana, born of a teenage mother. Of course, life was not easy, difficult. But then I was, a Swedish family came across my mother, and they took her in. They put me in school, into boarding school, which is here in Nairobi. Sasa, the thing is that when I used to go back home, the discrepancy between me and the kids out there,
at home,
it was wild.
Well, only come to Nairobi.
Yeah, no, I had everything. The kids over there, my cousins, my peers were very, their life was really... No, they're walking barefoot, torn clothes, just sitting under a tree for classrooms and things like this. Anyways, let's fast forward. I went into this school. I was an athlete. You know huko in school, I was being teased. Naona vile mimi niko hivi. Hey, ilikuwa shida.
Ilikuwa ni shida tayari.
Yes, being tall, dark, whatever, ilikuwa shida kwa shule. So I was being teased, etc. So I've never thought of myself of being a model or even watch alone model being beautiful in general,
because
right?
of all the teasing.
Yeah, I thought mimi, no, I can't make it in that world.
Okay.
Afadhali nifanye vitu zingine. So I was an athlete. I ran very well, very good sportswoman. I was captain of all the sports team.
Okay.
So over there, at least, I could hide kidogo from the teasing.
At least kuna kitu in a backup.
In a backup, you're teasing. It takes the attention away from that.
Yes.
So I was always like being put for medals all the time in assembly, etc. Now, a coach, Kipchoge's coach, Kipkeino's Kipchoge's coach, came to one of my sports day, and he saw me running. He's like, oh my gosh, I want that child. I want to give her a scholarship in the Virginia Military Academy. Okay. They're going to start the first women's military academy. So he wanted to take me there.
Okay.
So along the way, while I was doing that, somebody convinced me to do Miss Tourism.
So someone at least deviated you.
Somehow. I was like, you're tall, what? So I was like, okay, fine, let me give this thing a try, right? So out of the running and things, I became the national champion in 400 meters in Kenya. after a year.
After a year.
So Turkanas wako na talent pia. It's just that we don't have the resource and the altitude.
To put us out there.
Altitude, Eldoret. Anywho, so I became #1 in 400 meters. And I was on the newspapers for all this. So I was spotted by Ford models.
Are you serious?
Yeah, a Ford model agent called Lindsay McIntyre.
That's amazing.
And they tracked me down.
Sheesh.
They asked me to, to try modeling.
To try out.
They're like, give us a week or 2 in Paris and you see how it's going to be.
So wait, they track you down, they tell you, Ajuma, itakuwa aje, we would love you to try modeling. And what was were you like, yes, let me do it, ama?
Me, I was just like, I was dozens of me, how,
Sijioni,
Sijioni, Evo. So they told me, just come on, let's do this.
Try
I'm like, I'm even going for my scholarship, my athletic scholarship. I don't think that's gonna work. But they told me, give me 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
In Paris. And then we see, just
we see how things will go after
just come and try. Give us 2 weeks only, then we'll leave you alone.
Okay.
So I went to Paris. I started booking everything. Lacoste, what. But I didn't even know who those people were. Sujui Chanel, who I didn't know. I used to go to the agency. They'd be like, Ajuma, oh my God. All the agents, my agents are screaming, you've booked Suji Vivian Westwood, or you've booked Suji Jean-Paul Gaultier.
Wow.
I'm like, okay.
Who are those?
What are these? Okay, what are those? Okay, fine, And I'd just go walk and whatever. So, I mean, it looked like that was where.
That was him,
That was my ninina.
Your lane,
My lane now. I was like, this thing doesn't even hurt. I just walk kidogo hivi.
Runway too,
Nah, athletics is very painful.
I have to go around this field a couple of times.
Nah, it's so painful. Unatembea to get paid. I was like, let me just stay
Let me just do this.
And then the rest was history.
Wow, that's an incredible story. Like you were picked out of the many people and you were told, just come and give us a chance.
Yes.
So you get there, you get to Paris, you're booking all these things. Talk to me about some of the challenges that you experienced. Because I'm sure, as you've said, these are new brands to you. These are new people to you. Hawa si watu wako wa nyumbani. Talk to me about some of the challenges.
So it was hectic. The streets were hectic because I didn't know anything, right? It was a new world. Everything was different. And then these people, your agents, expect you to know everything. That's what I felt like, because what they did, they just gave me my itinerary and a map. They're like, au revoir, au revoir.
French. Goodbye.
Goodbye. I'm like, okay, what? Oh, you just go downstairs to the metro and then, and do your thing. I'm like, even getting downstairs.
How will I? Yeah.
Where is the way downstairs? Where is the way out of this office?
I'm used to something else.
Where is the door out of this place, first of all? I don't even know. Anywho, so the first time it was so difficult for me getting to castings,
yes.
Out of like 7 castings, I'd make 1 or I'd make none. Because I'm lost. I'm just going like this.
You don't know the streets, you're not familiar.
And then French people are so scared because when they don't nini. When you speak English to them, they're scared. They're not confident speaking English. So they just shy away and run away from you. Someone was just like this.
What is going on?
Like scared and whatever. So it was quite tough in the beginning, trying to get to different places.
And then do you take it upon yourself to learn these things, or do you get some assistance to at least...
Wewe mwenyewe. Yeah, because the other models, you can see other models, they're running around. Maybe unafuata another model, maybe unauliza, how do I get to this like this? Ukiwapata kwa street. Because on Fashion Week, it's models all over the city. Yani, they're just walking everywhere. So unaweza pata moja, are you going to this casting? Yes. Alafu unamfuata. And then anakuonyesha, how did you do this? So that's how we learned. And after that, I'm so good. If you drop me in a city. I'll take you anywhere.
I love that. There are people who are watching you right
like
now. Learning from experience.
There's no I don't know.
Talk to me about some people are watching you and maybe they already have their ticket, they have their visa, they're already they are just yearning. The day is counting down to go.
So exciting.
So exciting.
It is exciting.
Talk to them about after the excitement has died, they've gotten to the country. What are some of the things that they should look out for? What are some of the things they should prepare mentally, especially before making that journey and arriving?
What kind of person are you talking about? Are you talking about the person, a tourist, or are you talking about somebody who's going to stay?
Okay, let's talk to the person who is going there for an opportunity, like you, someone who has been invited for work, and then we'll talk to the people who are going there for leisure.
Those people who are staying there, loneliness. Unaona, vibe ni tofauti. You know, vibe is totally different. It is, you know, home, you know, vile tuna vibe, it's very natural.
Very
Conversation
natural.
is very, it flows vizuri. Over there, I feel like it's colder. It's more cold. The vibe is a bit more off.
Yeah.
And you'll get quite a bit of loneliness. Also, depression can set in if you're not careful.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's all that. You really have to be connected to home. Home, you have to be like, make sure you keep your connection to home. Open.
I like that. And also, after they arrive, what are some of also the things that they should look out for or want to learn about the new surrounding they're in? I'm
thinking maybe language.
Yes.
Try to break the language barrier, depending on where you're going. US and I mean, the US and the UK is the easiest place to go. But sasa unapata mtu mwingine anapata opportunity. Sorry, some other people get an opportunity in a country where, like, you know, there's a language barrier.
Yes, yes.
So the first thing you should do, usually most countries give you the opportunity to start. They enroll you into like classes,
into programs,
into learning the language.
Yes.
I think that is the first thing, very, very important. Something I can advise someone who's going there. Learn the language. Take the opportunity to learn the language when it arises.
I like that, because language barrier can lose you opportunities, can get you in the wrong kinds of situations. So I like that. Also, talk to me about the importance of coming back home, because as we can see, you've gone out there, you've enjoyed, you've experienced many different things. Talk to us also about the value of coming back home and also setting up your foundation. Coming back home is like, I've managed to learn. Yes. Ni kama wanasemanga brain drain. Mimi nimeleta. Yeah, so I've learned. For example, things like modeling, because some of the things I'm doing home is managing talent, right? Nice. I like that. Because I've gone there, I've learned how a talent should be treated, how a talent should be managed, the rights of a talent, right? I'm talking about like models, commercial talent, etc. Yes. So that is what I do at home. I have a casting and modeling agency. Amazing. Here at home called Ajuma Limited. And that's what I do. I protect models, make sure they get the right rates, etc. Yeah, and also if I get an opportunity, take models abroad as well. Wow. That should also be a good experience. So guys can tap into you if they're looking for those opportunities, especially, you know, learning the game, knowing the game. I'm a mentor. I know stuff, right? I know how these things work. Yes. Because I've been there. You've been there, yeah. You've been at the top of the top. Yeah, and nimepitia, let me tell you. I know we don't have enough time to talk about it all. Everything, nimepitia. So I'm able to mentor. Yes. I love that. Talk to me about the amazing work about your foundation. So another thing is that somebody lit my light or my candle, right? When I was very young, got me out of ruin or whatever. Poverty. Started from the bottom. They got you out of that. So going abroad has really made me feel like I have an obligation to my community, you know? Because all that time, when I was going into these fancy schools, etc., and now I'm abroad, na feel ni kama, na kula, you know when you're eating and somebody's sitting there hungry, watching. I've always felt like that. It's not a good feeling. So I've always felt like I needed to come home and, you know, give back. So one of the first things I did, apart from, of course, you know, modeling is, the shelf life is not that long. So you also have to make sure you create yourself something more sustainable. And you don't branch out into many different so I did my entrepreneurship thing with my modeling and casting agency, but also
it was very important for me to start a charity organization.
Nice.
And start giving back to the community.
That's amazing. I've seen your videos online. I've seen you helping children. I've seen you, making sure education,
Kids are so close to my heart.
I love
very,
that.
very, very, very close. So what I do, maybe I can tell you about the foundation.
Please.
So in the beginning when I started with the resources that I have, which was me, myself, and I. Your mentorship, yes. My mother had me as a teenager. So I came back and I felt like, okay, where I should start would be empowering young girls, especially in the villages, just to let them know there's hope, don't worry,
don't give up.
Yeah, look at me. I've come from, you can resonate with me. I came from where you are, and I made it too. You never know what fate has for you.
Yes.
You don't have to fall into early pregnancy and end your life at such a young age.
Yes.
So that's how I started.
Sorry?
Then I started collecting sanitary pads to keep the girls in school. And then I also worked with the refugee community. I'm a host member of the Kakuma refugee camp as a Turkana, of course. Nice. So I go in. I got the chance to get in there and also give a helping hand there by doing skill-based programs in my field.
Yes.
When it came to modeling, hairstyling, makeup artistry, design, clothes design, etc. And I took photographers like Emmanuel Jambo to go and mentor the photographers. Over there, what wanafikiria at the Kakuma camp, people are just there to be with us. No, those guys are like
out proactive.
Hey, they're so kila mtu akona swag. Let me tell you,
I like
it's amazing. So it's booming. So it's ready and thriving for people like me to go in and inject our our knowledge.
And at least you also being there, they see that you can make it out of the block and come back and help and uplift everyone. So I love that.
So that is nice. Teaching them also, they can go back and come.
Still
and to everybody now in the diaspora, whatever you're doing, home is not far from you. Continue connecting to home, and you can always come back and give back to our less.
I love that. Ajuma, if I could talk to you, I would talk to you all night. I would want to hear all your stories because I know you have some good ones. And here on Diaspora Connect, before I let you go, I know at the beginning you sent your salams to your little one. Right now, I want you to send salams to all your other people. I'm sure they're out there yearning for you. They're yearning to hear, your salamu moja mbili tatu. So I want you to look at that camera.
Because I would like to show the audiences very quickly. So these are my new project. It came with COVID, where now I started giving out exercise books because there in Turkana, for example, of course, we have this thing, a discrepancy when it comes to literacy. We're very much behind. So I decided to coin education during COVID. Instead of giving out food, I decided to coin education. And what I did was I started creating my own exercise books. So these exercise books, and I give out for free to children in rural Kenya. So these exercise books, what I didn't want to go and buy any other exercise books from just any other supermarket. I created my own with Kenyan cultures on the cover. So I'm able also to connect our different communities, right? Because, we have rivalry. Turkana and Pokot, we are crazy. Samburu and who, So I decided to connect our ethnic communities through the books while I'm keeping the children in school. So, for example, this is the Turkana cover. At the back, I'm able to show the children where the Turkanas come from and how to greet. I have maybe the Maasai. And then also the A5, just different. We'll show you in the digital.
Social media,
later.
Follow you more and know how to support you and know how to, get about it.
Sure,
so,
I have
thank you. Aya, sawa. Twende sasa kwa salamu. Kuna classmates, kuna watu wanasema maneno mingi. So please let us know. Talk to them.
Okay, so I'd like to say hi, of course, to my cousin Lisa. First of all, she's like, hey Lisa, my cheerleader. I'd like to say hello to my sister, Mia, who's sitting in front of the TV with my son right now watching. Jackie, of course, my son's nanny, Ikoku, and those are my cousins, Lola, Pati, my mother. Hey, watu ni wengi, Turkana mzima, habari zenu.
Thank you very much. We appreciate you. Please, I hope you know how much
it's been so much fun.
You. Thank you very much.
You're such a vibe.
We'll have you more.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, you've been a vibe. And please don't forget to donate to the Ajima Foundation. We have a lot of children a lot more children to reach to.
Yes.
So go and find us on Mitandao.
Yeah, Mitandao, and make sure you follow her too, so that you know every good thing she's up to right here. Thank you very much. And talking about good things, unajua sisi hapa Diaspora Connect, we're all about connecting. So at Diaspora Connect KE, that's our Instagram page. Ingia pale kwenye Instagram page yetu. Tell us a few things, especially kikuja, I want to ask you guys a question, especially watu wetu wa X na family yetu pale kwenye Twitter. If we gave you free range, tukikupatia no limit, no budget, and we tell you choose any country you would love to go to, let us know on that hashtag Diaspora Connect at Citizen TV Kenya. Tumelipa expenses zote. Which country are you going to? Interact with us, talk to us. Also, pale kwenye Instagram yetu tuambie all those good things. And talking about good things, unajua right here on Diaspora Connect, we always have our loved ones sending in salams. And these are some of what our loved ones are saying.
Kwa majina naitwa Susan Hayanzeli Washiko. Nataka kutuma salamu kwa baba na mama yangu Isaac Kutondo and Seraphine Washiko, na mandugu zangu John, Billy, Linda, Sami, Helen wakiwa huko Nairobi na Webuye. Natuma salamu nikiwa London, and I hope we'll meet soon. Na mbarikiwe kabisa.
Hello, Saseni, naitwa Mary Mugoni. I live in the UK. Nataka kusend greetings kwa Kasharage and to my family, love family, and my friends.
Guys, my name is Joe from the UK. I want to send my shout out to my dad, Mr. Ngoge akiwa pale Mutarakwa. My baba mdogo anaitwa Elder George Kimotho akiwa Mutarakwa. Na yote Mutarakwa, Limuru, Kombera, Jesia, Duvi, watu wote wa Ndenderu, ndugu yangu Kamali Puka akiwa pale kwa Iva, na Iva pia namgotea sana. Sweetie akiwa pale Limuru pia. Bari Task akiwa pale West bado anawachora. My sister akiwa Canada, my niece Zuri, my brother-in-law Charles, I love you man. God bless you. See you soon man.
Habari gani wa Kenya, waliokuwepo US, UK, Tanzania, Uganda, kote East Africa. Naupenda sana. Got love for you. We're here celebrating. The party is busting. We're having a blast, to be honest. So you're all welcome. Nakaribishwa kuja kutujoin. Asante sana. I love you all. Thank you.
Hello. Kita hapa Utamaduni Festival. Nataka kutuma salamu kwa kila mtu hapa mtaani. Mtembee.
Jina langu Njore Kimani, niko hapa Slough, mji unaitwa Slough hapa UK. Ningependa kutuma salamu mingi sana kwa watu wetu Kenya, watu wetu wenye wako US, watu wetu wenye wako hapa UK pia. Masalimu nyinyi wote. Na mkuje tuendelee kufanya biashara huku. Mimi nafanya biashara ya kupiga simu, international connection between hapa UK na Kenya na pia other countries in Africa. Asanteni sana, tupatane tena kwa sherehe kama hizi hapa utamaduni wa Kikenya hapa UK. Twende nalo.
Hello everyone, I'm Jambo nyote Kenya. Mimi ni Bernard Makau Kavyu hapa London, England, United Kingdom. Nataka kutuma salamu kwa familia yangu yote, jamii wote walioko Kenya, mahali popote, Nairobi, Ukambani, Mombasa, nyote na wasalimu. My brothers, my sisters, nyote mmesalimika, and niko hapa Slough, tuko na Kenya Utamaduni Day UK.
Hey, maze UK, maze muna jinai subaya utamaduni inaenda mbaya sana. So I love to see Kenyans connect. Napenda kuona hiyo community, and that's what we are about right here on Diaspora Connect. And talking about community, remember on our Citizen TV Kenya page pale kwenye X aka Twitter, unaweza pata tumekuuliza swali murwa kabisa. If you had a free ticket to any country, where would you go? Na naona wasio wameanza ku come through. Naona uni Juma kutoka kutoka Rongai anasema bro, if I had to go to any country it has to be Madagascar. Hey bro, umefikiria kitumuru hapo kabisa. Also Diana Canez coming through anasema for me it has to be to see the Eiffel Tower in Paris. Hey, hapo sawa manzi. I see we have big dreams and ambition, and that's what it's all about. Margaret coming through all the way from Uganda pia anasema for her she would love to come to Kenya, but also she would love to go all the way to Minneapolis. Hey, I love it, man. And talking about traveling right here on Diaspora Connect, you know, your bag you usually pack it, your visa pale na hata kama una, we still taking you on a trip all the way just so that we can connect with the Kenyans from across the world who are changing lives, and also, you know, get to know about them and all their amazing stories. And right now, we are joined by the amazing Levi. Hey, mambo vipi Levi?
Habari gani?
Ni aje bro, kwa salama lakini?
Niko salama kabisa.
Good to have you on the show. Tunashukuru sana. Manze, how are you? Yeah. What time is it? Ambia wase uko area gani kwa hii dunia? Talk to me.
It's 6:15 in the morning. It's Madaraka Day. Happy Madaraka Day.
Happy Madaraka Day to you.
Niko mahali naitwa Wodonga in Victoria in Australia.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Tunajua Australia kufika huko ni connecting flights hapa na pale, like a whole day's journey. Talk to me about Madaraka Day. How is Madaraka Day celebrated on that side?
Well, we are actually meeting with a number of Kenyans today in the afternoon around maybe 1 o'clock for lunch. A few of us tumegala pamoja, at least to kule, tuimbe wimbo za uzalendo. But really over here, of course, it's not a tier day anyone is going to really mark, except for those of us who come from Kenya. Ni wale tu tunajuana, tutakutana tuambiane ya Madaraka Day. And there are some guys, by the way, wamesahau hata Madaraka Day inakuanga siku gani. So fun. People come abroad and they really act up sometimes, but tunawakumbusha.
Tunawakumbusha. Nikuulize sasa juu umesema, of course, I mean, in a different country, it's not a holiday for everyone. Wewe kama Mkenya unajichukulia holiday ama una behave tu kama wengine?
And a job baadaye, lakini you know the thing is inside you where is how kwamba it's a remember hizi masiku kama wakati nilikuwa na grow up, my dad was very serious with these holidays. Ile time unaona Moi alikuwa pale anapita hapo hivyo na hizo mandege na manini to make us stand for the national anthem. So I was a bit traumatized about these holidays. So this is how.
At least, yeah. But I love it. Your story is sensational, bro. And I know you've shared it before. You're an author. You're out here, you know, telling people the do's and don'ts. And I just want us to start from the beginning, yani from the genesis. Talk to us about your journey of leaving Kenya all the way to the United States. Tuanzie hapo. Talk to us.
Well, that was in the year 1999. I know it's possibly the most famous story. I think even now, possibly the focus on it is more because of what is happening with America at the moment. But in my time, you know, it was not a very common thing. Well, I left. Nilifanywa ile vitu watu fanyiwanga as in maombi. Sikuwa sure napata visa, but God is nilienda huko. You know those days. I think even now, you end up at American Embassy and you have to say your problems there on the counter. Everyone is listening at the same time. Like a microphone hapo. Huwezi hata whisper. Unajua Kenyans, you want to say a symbol, lakini wanasema tu no kama kila mtu amesikia. But on that day, I was I'd say God was on my side because ule mama mwenye alikuwa anaambia watu no sana. Mimi nilifika hapo na within 2-3 minutes alikuwa shakubali. I couldn't even believe it. So prayers were held, you know, people were gathered, I was prayed for, Harambe was done. You know, the village came together literally in terms of friends, family, and everyone else, and I was sent off to the US. But even on the day I was going, there was a problem because hiyo siku nilikuwa naenda, kulikuwa na I went to try and, you know, maybe I got excited, so a friend of mine and I went to have a bit of a good time. Na tukajipata nimechapa to drinks moja mbili, nimelewa sana. So naombewa and I'm traveling by 4 o'clock. I was drunk and I'm traveling at 9 o'clock in the morning, in the night, and I almost never went. But, you know, I say, you know, sometimes the bad beginning starts right there. But eventually I landed in the US, went to school after a few years, kwenda balance shule. I think it was only 1 year I tried to balance school and work.
Yeah.
Alafu nikarealize, nikapata job ingine hapo, hiyo job ilinipatia kiburi sana. So, na ilikuwa na do, in fact, in my opinion at that moment, it was a lot of money because I'm not seeing that kind of money myself, but I then asked myself the question, you know, si tunaenda shule ndo tusome ndo tupate do. Na sasa ndo ido. So kwa nini tuende shule? So that foolish decision is what began my spiraling back to Kenya. Because I dropped out of school, I started working, you know, just living life the way unaishi tu kwa America, one thing to another until the law caught up with me and I ended up deported at the age of 25 with shorts, a t-shirt and nothing else.
Levi, ebu umeenda haraka sana. Just
ninajaribu kusema.
Bana, ukaongea kuhusu kupata pesa, hapo tumepata. Ukaongea kuhusu unajua kujivinjari, dropping out of school, trying to make your way. Alafu tena unaongelelea mambo ya deportation. Okay, nataka hiyo story yetu. Nataka hapo story yetu ipige pause tu kidogo because right here on the Hangout, not only do we have man like Levi all the way in Australia making sure kila kitu iko sawa. Na umesikia hiyo story, ametuambia deportation ilikuwa knocking on his door. We'll be getting back to man like Levi so that he can tell us all how it all unfolded, venye ilikuwa, venye haikukua, ilikuwa motel, ilikuwa ni mtu alipiga simu ama hizi vitu zingine, but we'll definitely be coming back to you, Levi. But right here on the Hangout, I have my other amazing guest. She looks nice. Your smile is amazing. I have Mercy Atieno here. Yay!
I don't know.
Hey.
I don't. And I don't give a
Hey, I don't give a Welcome to Diaspora Connect.
Thank you so
we
much.
are privileged to have you. Thank you very much. Umesikia tulikuwa tunaongelesha our brother all the way in Australia. Anaitwa Levi Kons. Ametuambia maneno yake na he's about to give us a story of what unfolded about him being deported from the US of A. And before we continue with his story, I want us to talk to you because you also have a unique story to tell others especially who are aspiring to go for that American dream, to go to the land of milk and honey. You know, before we reach there, we think it is heaven of some sort, and then we get there and then reality dawns on us. So maybe for those who don't know, tell us a bit about yourself before we get into your story.
Okay, so my name is Mercy Atieno, or Mercy Atis.
Atis?
Atis, yes. I was born and raised in Siaya County. I'm a mother of 2 boys, an author, singer-songwriter.
Hey, multi-talented. I love it.
Yes.
Yes. So, talk to me about your journey. I'm sure many people have heard it before, but kuna wale hawajasikia, tuko na Gen Z, tuko na Gen Alpha, and it is also a lesson to us who haven't yet experienced that good life that we yearn for ourselves, you know? Yes. So maybe tell people about your journey of how it came to be for you to leave Kenya and go all the way to your US, and your first reactions reaching US, especially since you were going there as a student.
All right, so my journey came as a result of my brother's death.
Okay.
Yes.
My condolences for that.
Thank you. So my brother was a 4th-year student at University of Eastern Africa, Baraton, studying theology. And unfortunately, he was sick for like 2-3 days and he passed on. And when he died, the university admitted me, but one of his friends went to the US.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, his friend is Peter Kosgei. He's probably watching right now.
Hey, Peter.
So, Peter Kosgei, if you're watching from Minnesota.
Hey, Minnesota.
So, yeah, Peter Kosgei went to America and he promised me that he was going to make sure that he brings me just in honor of my brother.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yes.
That's amazing.
So, true to his word, he kept his communication through his wife. And eventually I got application for college and I applied and then I forgot about it. After a while, I was amazed to hear that I got a full scholarship.
Oh, wow.
America. Yes.
Hey, congratulations.
Thank you. So when I came to Nairobi, everything happened so miraculously and so fast. in that the Ministry of Foreign Affairs helped me to process my passport. Because, you know, I came from the village,
yes.
I didn't have capital, I didn't have anything.
Yeah, and you also maybe don't know where to start even.
Right, right. So I ended up in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs office, and thank God the secretary listened to me and took me to the Minister of Foreign Affairs.
You had favor.
Hey, yes, I had a lot of favor. Yes. So they processed my passport within less than 24 hours. And then they booked for my appointment at the U.S. Embassy.
Yes.
It was all booked.
Okay.
But they just took me. Actually, the PA to the Foreign Affairs Minister, his name was Isaiah Otieno.
Okay.
He held my hand to the American Embassy.
Took you there personally?
Yes, without an appointment, actually, yes.
Hey, your God should, you know, nafani ombe huyo Mungu wako.
Yes. So when I got there, Isaiah, I remember, asked me a few questions, and the same questions he asked me are the same questions I was asked.
Oh, during the interview for the visa.
Yes.
Okay.
And also, like, his story, what is his name? The guy you were just talking to?
Levi.
Just like Levi, the lady who kept saying no, 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 no to everybody said yes to me.
Oh, wow. Sisi wengine tukipigwa no, kuna wengine wanapigwa ile yes.
Yeah.
So you go to the interview, you're asked a few questions.
Yes.
And what does the lady tell you at the end of the interview?
She says, congratulations, you've been given a visa. And I'm just jumping like, So everybody was like,
amepata visa.
Yeah. So I'm running, and then I'm calling Isaiah Otieno, who had taken me to the embassy. And he's like, I'm not surprised. I already knew you were going to get a visa.
Hey, favor yenye ikikuandama imekupeleka paka mbele. I love it.
Yeah.
So you get this favor, you get your visa, you get your passport ready. Yes. That means there's only one thing missing.
The air ticket.
The air ticket.
Yes. So for the air ticket, I go to HELB, you know, Higher Education Loans Board, and I meet Mrs. Ayonga.
Okay.
First, you guys know Mr. Ndegwa. Yeah, those who went to university during his time. Yes, they know Mr. Ndegwa, and he referred me to Mrs. Alice Ayonga, who took me to her church, SDA church, and they raised money for my ticket. And there I was on Fly Emirates, heading to America.
What is the first, ushabukiwa ticket, umesha pack your bags, umeweka kila kitu iweta. Kwanza nikuulize, hiyo kupack bags, ulipack nini? Nguo peke?
I didn't pack anything. I didn't know I was going to America on that day.
I love it. So unapewa ticket, watu wa church wanaomba?
The church people had already like donated to me some clothes that were very much oversized.
Okay.
I was a very small girl at the time. So they had donated for me. I went to America with a very small bag, like a kibeti.
Oh, wow. Not a whole suitcase?
No, no suitcase, nothing. So I'm getting on the aeroplane and I'm just like, my dreams, you know.
Yes, you're
I'm going to America, land of opportunity. There will be no more death, no more pain, no more suffering, no more sorrow.
My family wako sawa.
Yes.
I love it. That excitement is, most of us or some of us will experience that, especially before we get to wherever we are going or for the opportunity that we are going.
Right.
Talk to me, let me fast forward it a bit. Talk to me about culture shock. Talk to me about landing in America. What is the first state you landed?
I landed in Arkansas.
Arkansas.
So, Arkansas.
I love it. So you arrive in Arkansas. Tell me some of the things that you experienced. Umefika kwa airport, are you picked up? How do things go from there?
No, actually I was held in Houston, Texas.
Okay.
So when I got to Arkansas, the people who had come to pick me up had already left. So the first culture shock is the dress code. It was summertime. So everybody is wearing shorts, like shorts. And tank tops, yeah.
Ooh.
So to me, from my village mind, I'm like, everybody is walking naked in America. Yeah. So that was a big culture shock. And then the price of items, you know, I'm converting everything into Kenyan shillings. So I'm like, oh, they said soda is $5. And that time soda was, I don't know, 15 shillings.
15,
So I'm thinking, these people are robbers. And then the food, yeah, they're asking me, do you want to eat hot dogs? And I'm like, do Americans, do they eat dogs?
I love it.
Yeah.
So culture shock was everywhere in sight, you know.
Yes.
So I love the fact that when I was doing research on your story, you had gotten a scholarship, as you said, but you didn't necessarily go fast to school. You started selling books, some literature, and whatnot, just to supplement some income here and there. Where does it go after you don't go to school? What happened? What are the next steps that happened before we get to the main thing?
So I get to America, and there is actually no school. I never went to any school.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I'm selling books door to door, you know, with my thick African accent. And then I'm in the program for more than 1 year. I never go to any classes. And eventually I ran away. I escaped.
Oh, yeah, you had moved away from...
Yes, the story is really long. We can't go there.
Yes.
But I eventually escaped, and I end up in Northwest Arkansas Community College.
Okay.
And I got there only for 1 semester, and I got my social security number. I got my Arkansas driving license, Arkansas ID.
Arkansas, I like it.
Arkansas. And then I began working in the nursing homes. I worked at Heritage Park Nursing Home. Yes.
So then, as you're working and getting a bit culturized and acclimatized to everything happening around you and in the US, is it as easy, or is it some of the things that you thought it would be like? Or was it a totally different shift? Like, nilikuwa nafikiria tutaenda hivi, but tumebidi tupige kona.
Okay, I think for a village girl like me, America is very big and very confusing.
Yes.
And I wish I had, you know, people to guide me. Because by the time I got to Arkansas, my brother's friend had already left the state to Minnesota.
Yeah.
So I actually had nobody, and I was a teenager. I was 18.
Yes.
I turned 19 years old in America. So I wanted to be everywhere. I made some very big mistakes, and I never deny that. One of the biggest mistakes that I made was leaving Arkansas to go to Dallas, Texas.
Okay.
I left Arkansas to look for Kenyans, because Arkansas there's not so many Kenyans.
Okay.
Yeah. But then I was supposed to stick in Arkansas because I was already establishing myself. So in America, you just don't move
around.
You just don't move anyhow.
Yeah, you need to establish yourself in one place and then maybe try and conquer other places.
Yes.
Okay, I understand that for sure. And now, talk to me about, because we've had Levis from Australia talk about deportation.
Right.
Because, as we said, your story, I'm sure many people have heard it. But don't you tuko na Gen Z, tuko na alphas, na kuna wale ambao, they are living in somewhere under the rock. They don't want to be enlightened. Talk to me about that experience, because as you've said, you are looking for community, and then you end up in Los Angeles, you end up in LA, and in LA you're in a shelter.
Yes, yes.
Talk to me about that point of you being in a shelter, and then the events that transpired for you now, for the chain of reactions for the deportation to happen.
All right, so I'm now living in LA shelter. It is called A Brighter Future, inside Hollywood YMCA.
Oh, wow.
1553 North Schroeder Boulevard.
You remember it. I love it.
So I still remember the address. So I'm living in the shelter, and my father died in Kenya. Yeah. So when my father died in Kenya, I could not come for his funeral. So I asked my family to shoot the video and send it to me. So when the video got to the shelter, instead of the shelter giving it to me, they opened it and they started watching it. And then in addition to watching it, they started to mock my father's death and to laugh.
Sorry about that.
And that is what got me really upset.
Okay, so you get upset, and I'm sure it's also a culmination of all the things that are happening also in the background with work, with this living situation, and all these things about chasing the American dream. So what are the steps you take that end you up into a pile of hot soup?
Right, so that is when I remember that I was like banging on the door for almost 30 minutes, begging these people to just give me the video of my father's funeral.
Yes.
And they kept laughing and mocking me. So I take a charcoal lighter fluid and I pour it on the carpet outside the door.
Okay.
So I lit the carpet like your carpet here.
You lit it on fire.
I light the carpet on fire. Yeah. what I'm thinking is that I need to get the attention
of those people
to get out and give me my father's video,
yes.
right? I have no idea that I'm committing a huge felony in America.
Yes.
So they get out, they turn off the fire with a hooded sweatshirt.
Because it was small.
It was a small fire, so they turned it off with a hooded sweatshirt. And that is how I got arrested. And in the beginning, I thought it's just a small thing, yeah? What is amazing is that my mother died before I had left Kenya. And right before this incident, I saw my mother in a dream 3 times, warning me to leave the shelter.
To leave the shelter.
Or else I'm going to end up in prison.
Wow.
So don't undermine dreams either.
And visions about that.
Right.
Wow. I like the fact that you've said that, and I'm sure guys are connecting to what you're saying. And I also want you to think about it, because I want us to bring our guy Levis to come into this conversation all the way from Australia. I want you to think about some of the lessons that you learnt during this process, because the deportation process is not an easy process, not a friendly process. Yes, I know it also mentally it will take a toll on you. And I want you to talk to us about the lessons that you learned. But think about it as I talk to Levi. Levi, I hope you're still here with us, because your story and Mercy's story kidogo ziko pahali together. Na we were talking to you and you were telling us about the way shule umeamua kuweka kando kidogo, hustle uingililie. And I remember when I was doing my research, especially about yourself, it was all about this one incident where you went to a motel and everything just from there went downhill. So talk to me about that moment of where now things start, the deportation process start, and what happened to cause this, and you know, all the other lessons that you have learned during this hard kind of process.
Okay, I think it was a series of wrong turns that led me there. And the first one, of course, was the decision to drop out of school. Alafu everything else cascaded down from there, because after dropping out of school, you know, you immediately become out of status, you're no longer meeting your visa conditions. And then the next thing that happens is now you're working. So all you're doing is just, you know, working as a young man, you're trying to floss, you're trying to buy vehicles, go places. And that also brings some attention that's also not very good, because one day I went to work, you know, my friend Mercy there has spoken about getting a social security number. I think that changed a little bit later, because when we went to the States, at that moment in time, you were given a social security number immediately. And it used to have a stamp that says not allowed to work. But of course, there's always a guy somewhere who could be able to remove for you that stamp and then give you one that doesn't have one. And then you apply for a job, and this was like before the September 11th story, they were not so strict. So you apply for a job, you say you're an American citizen, nobody really checks into the background of that, and you get this job. And this is how I had gotten this particular job. So one day I go to work, and I believe actually it was some of my friends, in quotes, who had actually maybe mentioned something. Unajua ile unaringa sana, niko na hii job, nini, and people are not so happy about you, because suddenly my boss asked for my papers, which I didn't have, of course. So I went home. I was living with my sister at that time, and I told her, I think this job, it's over. And then I moved states. Again, problem again starts also from there. I moved from Kansas, where I was staying at that moment in time, in a little town called Topeka, and I moved all the way to Atlanta in Georgia. I went to stay with a friend who I'd grown up with from back in Eldoret. And after a while, you know, when you're staying with people, you're living on their couch, there are already 2 people who are staying together, problems start appearing. You know, umekula food ya mtu, sijui uliingia late, ulikuwa unapiga kelele, ukuosha sijui nini. You start having those issues between the two of you. So I had to move out and look for another job. So I was working at a gas station now at that point in time, and the work was not really... It was not as I had been used to a lot of money, so I was looking for something bigger. So somebody else suggested, hey, we move to Chicago. There's opportunities there. There's things what? And I ended up moving from Atlanta all the way to Chicago. Again, another big move, very many different kilometers away from ATL. And when I got there, I was working for a Motorola company as well as the Chicago Tribune, 2 jobs. But the Motorola company, it was a factory job, but it was a good job. It paid quite okay. But suddenly it shut down.
Oh, wow.
After a few months, it shut down. And now I only had this one job, which was only 4 hours per day. So I could not sustain myself. So I came to a point where I was now in a moment of crisis. I came to the crossroads and I asked myself, so what am I doing? And then by then I'd been almost 4 years in America. I'd not done anything for myself, you know. And I thought about like the prodigal son, going back to the beginning. I called my sister. Then she was in Kansas, my late sister. She's deceased now. And I told her, I'm coming back home, basically. Let me come back. Let me start over. Let me go to school. Let me, you know, begin again. And I put up all my belongings in my car and began the drive from Chicago back to Topeka, Kansas. But I made a mistake because I went through a town in nearer to Minneapolis, a town called Winona. That time I went there. I used to have a girlfriend there back in the day. So I actually Msalamie, which was a big mistake because really it's even out of the way. If you look at the direction from Chicago all the way to Kansas City, you don't have to go through Minneapolis to get there. So I drove in that direction. I got over there. I arrived after driving for almost 8-9 hours. We went out that particular night, and somehow, somewhere in that kuenda out na kukunywa na nini, we got into an argument. Na nikajam, nikamwambia mazea kwenda nini. This lady, to her credit, really tried to plead with me not to go, but I was insistent. I got back on the road, and about an hour driving into the road, I felt like I was so sleepy. I'm now drunk. If the cops catch up with you, it's going to be a problem. Yeah. So I pulled into a motel. I remember the motel had a sign written $34.99 on it. It was a cheap motel. And I pulled in for the night. And now, those days we used to pay by check. You could write a check to the hotel. They had like a machine, the check would go around, and you know, your money would be given that way. So I went to the counter, I paid by check. They asked for my ID. I didn't have my driving license with me. I had a passport, Kenyan passport. The Kenyan passport had a valid visa but had expired. The passport itself was expired that particular year. So they gave me a room. Nothing happened. Kume, this guy, this is now 2004. This guy now, Kumbe, he took the passport, and because of all those, there were so many suspicions of, you know, your people and need expired passports and stuff.
After 9/11.
The cops. Yeah. Mimi sijui mimi nimeenda kulala. Na nimelala deep because I've been driving, I've been drinking, you know, all these things have taken a toll on me. And I was woken up early in the morning at 5:30 by the sound of the policemen getting into the room. The door was broken into, and boom, they were inside. I understand they were trying to talk to me before, but I could not hear them. And maybe it's a good thing I didn't hear them because their guns were drawn, and I think they were thinking I was planning something. You know, maybe if I had had them, I would not be speaking here today. Yeah. And so they pulled me out in shorts and a t-shirt, and I was taken to the police station. At first, I was not told what was going on. They said I'd written a bad check initially, you know. So, and then after a day being in the police station, the next day I was taken out and I saw being transported to a van, and the van was written, then it was called, now it's called ICE, then it was called the INS, the Immigration Naturalization System. So I knew it's over. If there's anything you're afraid of in America, it's the tax guys and the immigration guys. Nowadays, the immigration guys more, it seems. And I was transported to Minneapolis itself, to the big detention center, 2 hours away from where I had been. I was in a place called Eau Claire when I was caught in Minnesota. And over there, by the way, they had all my details. But when I went to school, they bear your life in front of you.
Yani juu ya hiyo namba moja.
Nilikubali tu mimi nimekuwa dropped out of school, all these things, what. So they had a detention center. Yeah. That time it was at Rush City. Now it became a prison. They were building it into a prison, but they're using it to keep detainees at that particular moment in time. So they sent me there when my case was being worked on. So I ended up in a cell that was more of a solitary confinement kind of cell. You come out for a few hours a day, but you're taken back in. And for 6 weeks, I did not know what was going to happen to me. You know, I almost went mental in that particular time. You know, it was a hard time.
A hard time.
Yeah, and then one day they opened the door. They told me, you're going back to Nairobi today. They had a ticket with them. They sent me, we went to the Minneapolis airport. I was given $20 and I was spotted. I was lucky they didn't bring me all the way to Nairobi. They put me on the plane. They told me I would be received in Amsterdam by the police and then, just transferred to the other side. Yeah. And that's how I landed in JKI, in shorts, a t-shirt, nothing else in March.
Oh, wow, Levi.
Yeah.
That story right there. At first, I was, I'm sorry that you went through that ordeal.
I like wearing shorts. I think it came from those days.
Naelewa kabisa. I want us to continue talking about that story because right now you're already in a different country. Uko Australia, hata uko Kenya. So I want us also to talk about that experience because for me, nikidipotiwa pahali, itanifanya niogope kuingia ndege jengine, niende place jengine. So, Levi, please don't go anywhere. I want us to hear more of that story because also Mercy is here. Na yeye pia anatuambia maneno yake vile inaenda. And I love the fact that you two are, and you're not worrying about this story. You're not saying proud of it, but you're standing in it, and so that others can learn and others can get that light so that they do not fall into those same kind of mistakes or loopholes. Also, talking about good things happening with us right here. Remember, get interactive. Keep on talking to us right there on our hashtag Diaspora Connect at Citizen TV Kenya. Hapo ndo pale tuko, conversation iendelee. I'll be reading some of your comments in a while. But right now, I want us to go all the way to Ngemi, because Ngemi, it's going down in the right kind of way. And I want us to speak to our reporter on ground. Kabuka, unasema aje huko Ngemi? Hey, nikuji nice too. Hey. So, okay, I guess we'll be joining them a bit later on when we can get our signals correct. But right now, we still have a lot to get through on the show right here, Diaspora Connect. Continue connecting with us. And also, don't be afraid. Ask all those questions that you have at Citizen TV Kenya, at Diaspora Connect KE on Instagram. Use that hashtag Diaspora Connect. But right now, we'll take a short break, but we'll be right back.